And we are live. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Tech Down Over. We are live on YouTube right now, and in about a minute or two, we will be starting the recording. Right next to me, Jeff Blanchard.
Yeah,
he is in beautiful Melbourne, Australia.
Yes, and just having something jumping onto my screen that I didn't want to jump on. I'm just moving it out. It's just amazing, though, isn't it, when you've got your computer and you want to do something and you can't, but when you don't want it to do it, just jumps all over the place.
Yep.
And I thought, how did I do that? I don't know how I did that, but it just did it anyway. So
all right, so here we go. We're going to start the show recording in 3, 2, and 1. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Tech Down Over. It's all about tech, digital, audio, video, phones, anything digital. And I'm with my good friend and co-host, Jeff Blanchard. He is in beautiful Melbourne, Australia. Now, Melbourne and LA look kind of alike, don't they?
what do you mean, as far as weather? Or
Yeah, weather and kind of kind of architecture a little bit. They both seem like pretty modern cities and lots of ocean around.
Yes, that's right, because as I said, most of Australia were pretty much all ocean lovers. There's not a lot in the middle of it, you see. There's not like America where there's a lot of big cities.
True.
We're all sort of hanging around the outsides.
Yep, that's true. Well, here we go. We're back. So, Jeff, what's new in your life?
Well, what I've been doing, I've actually, looking from the feed from NAB, seeing what was new and exciting from NAB this year, and I kept seeing nearly everybody was saying there really wasn't anything revolutionary.
No.
So I thought, I'm glad I didn't bother going this year, try and make the effort to go. But one of the things that did come out of it that I think you put me onto as well was the DaVinci Resolve 14.
Yeah, that's actually a nice update.
So I've downloaded that and started having a play on that. But it's quite amazing what you can do for a product that they're giving you away for free, isn't it?
It's free. I thought they were going to add. No, they haven't charged it. It's still, they only charge $1,000 for the cinema version, but not for the normal, which does almost everything cinema does.
And the things, I just downloaded it last night and started on it, and I put together a little video, edited it, and produced it. And I thought I'd never used DaVinci before, but it's quite an easy product to use when you want, if you just want to get started quickly on it. And what I like about it, it's just got the main 4 areas down the bottom with the file, edit, color, and produce. Really, that's the main thing. So you're not under any misgivings and that. And it looks really great. I don't know if you've had a look at it, but it's just here. I'll see if I can do this one here for me.
Yeah, 14. I'm going to download. I'm going to download it this weekend.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. I've got it on the screen there.
Yeah, that's good. Oh, they did make it a little bit different.
And the thing is, what I liked with it was it's just so much easy to do, and things like just clicking on easy freeze framing, I think. But just all this was just that's really for nothing. I just still can't believe it. I'm thinking there's going to be a thing that's going to run out and not allow me to do anything on it, because it just seems to be such a good package on that. And as I said, I went to try to do one thing, and then it says you've exceeded the limitations of the free package. To do this, you must buy the bought version. But I thought that was quite a lot of.
What did you try to do?
I can't remember what it is now, but it was just something in there. I didn't know what it was, but I did it, and it said you've exceeded it. So it must have been something that I didn't know I could do, or don't know of, but it was quite a lot. And I thought at first I tried a few transitions for the videos, and all I could do was fade in and out. Then all of a sudden they appeared. I must have done something right on that. The only trouble I'm having with that, and I don't know whether it's a limitation of the package, is just outputting it to a 4K image. I keep getting a 360 frames per second through, not a 720 or 360, and maybe it's just something I'm doing. But then again, as I said, I only put it on last night, so
Right.
to get that far is really great. So
I like
really,
it. You know, it reminds me a lot of some of the editing techniques of Vegas, which make it very fast for editing. And I haven't tried it yet. Like I said, I'm going to download it this weekend, and I'm really interested in the sound capabilities because they've added a lot more to sound. So that's sort of interesting.
Yeah, yes, I was having a look at that as well, which was really good. The sound quality on that, but also on there, I was putting in all the different filters and that, trying to get different things on there. But I just noticed it was just. I enjoyed using it, and that's half the problem with a lot of these ones. You've got to enjoy using it, but it looked complicated enough that it would keep you interested, but easy enough so you didn't have to. Like Premiere's great; it's got so much, but you need to know what you're doing on there. And then when you look at iMovie, people don't like iMovie because they'll get what they want out of it, but it looks too simple for them.
Right.
Whereas with this one, I think you can do simple enough, but it's complicated enough that you can really get stuck into it.
Yeah,
but,
this had a lot of nice additions. So I think now they're going to be really competitive with everybody else. One of the biggest flaws was audio. They had no real good audio.
And one thing I like with in the color, change the colors, you can remove some of the shadows and that from your video.
Right. Nice.
And that's really, really great. That's the main thing I miss on a lot of things, where you just tweak it that little bit, and it just seems to do such a good job.
Yeah. Now I can't get you to spend any money on DaVinci Resolve because it's free. But maybe this will convince you to spend some money somewhere else.
Yes, I wonder what that is.
So here I've got the GH5.
Oh, yes.
Okay? Now you notice what's on top.
A flash.
That's a Canon Speedlight, top of the line, I think 680.
Yes.
So this is a $550, $600 flash. And look. Did you see it?
What? Didn't flash?
It didn't. It does here. You're not seeing the flash?
Oh, yep. I did that time. Yep.
So I'm shooting with the GH5 with the Canon Speedlight, and it's perfect. It works really well. You can change it so if I can shoot more towards this,
Oh, that'll be good. Yep, that's good.
But I usually bounce it. I don't really go direct. It can pivot. You can turn it around. I can make it shoot that way. But this is a Canon Speedlight with the GH5, no problem. It's using the TTL through the lens coating, and it just works fine. And the lens I'm using is the... So this is the big package. Here you go. It's a Panasonic GH5. I've got a Canon Speedlight, and I have a Sigma 50 millimeter art lens through the Metabones, .67 or whatever it is. 6.4. So I get one. This is a 1.4 lens, which is now down to probably about a 0.8. So the speed on this lens is incredible. You add the speed light. I mean, this is now almost. It feels as heavy as a normal Canon rig. I mean, really, it's with the battery grip. I feel like I've got a Canon, but which is faster and can do more. So I've got the best of all worlds in my hand.
And it still amazes me with the Panasonic GH5. People are still talking about it. So I think it's more good than there is bad. Like, I'm glad there is some bad about it, because there's nothing out there that can be perfect. No. And I thought if there wasn't anything bad about it, I just don't believe that. But there's more good on it than I've seen that there's bad on the camera.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's not shooting anymore. I don't know why. I think I moved something. But it's pretty cool. It can do all of this without really a lot of work. And so you have basically almost a Canon rig with a Panasonic camera, which can shoot 4K and pretty good HDR, pretty good everything, pretty good low light. No matter how many people complain, it's actually pretty darn good at low light, and for a lot less money.
Well, the thing is, they're safe for low light. As I said, yes, the Sony does, as we said last week, the Sony does an excellent job, really low light.
Yeah.
But for most people, you don't need that.
No, you don't.
And even when you're getting down to that low light, if you want a subject, in focus, and not, you'll need some extra light, no matter how good the camera does do. But I've found even with the FZ1000, it's just quite amazing some of the low light you can get to it when there is a street light or just a normal single bulb in there. It's when it gets down to no light at all, it's no good.
Also,
but in them cases, most of the times you don't want that anyway.
And also, a little bit of grain, I think, is nice, especially if you're looking at textures. I think it looks good. People are going crazy. It has a little bit of grain. Well, actually, that's a textured wall. Oh. People are going crazy.
Have you seen a lot of the Blu-ray videos, and that some of them put a warning at the front? They said the way it's filmed, there's grain intentionally being put in there because
they have to warn you.
They were complaining because they said, "Oh, this is a Blu-ray, it's such high quality." And look at the rubbish qualities. No, that was intentional to give that a particular effect. Because let's face it, some of the times it looks so damn good, it's unbelievable. Where if you want something that's a science fiction, you want a bit of grain to hide that it's a plastic prop that you're using, but it looks a bit grungy, and it really makes a difference for that. So, and I heard somebody talking the other day about frame rates and film quality, and said people still want that film type quality, which is lesser, duller quality. The brain just can't seem to handle too much perfect, nice, clean quality. They always want to smudge it down.
It's interesting. Well, we were here last week, and not much has changed. Sony got in trouble for their A9 fake kind of shooting scenario they did. Did we talk about that last week? Or
No.
So Sony comes out with the A9, which looks like a cool camera, and they invited all these non-sports photographers. Now, this is technically a sports photography camera. So they don't invite anybody who's a sports photographer, just portrait kind of guys or landscapers. And of course, they're not used to shooting sports, but they had 5 sporting venues completely perfectly lit by natural light, a lot of outside light, because with fluorescence and other lights, with an electronic shutter going so fast, you're going to get banding. It's going to cause banding. I've seen that happen in some of the shots I've taken. Electronic shutters have a tendency in different lighting to cause a lot of banding. And they can't seem to get away from that for some odd reason. Maybe the shutters aren't fast enough. I'm not sure. But it has something to do between shutter and sensor and everything else. But it was fascinating because not only did they do that, they told people, don't go outside, just stay right where you're supposed to. And then Max Yuriev, who's one of the photographers, was invited. He went outside and took some shots where it was different light, and he got banding and other issues. So it didn't work for them because everybody found out real quickly that they set up the whole shot to make it perfect so that the camera would not look bad. But in reality, while it's a good camera, it has a lot of nice features, it is kind of weird. It's not perfect. And for $4,500, that's a lot of money to get banding.
But let's face it, really, this day and age, you're not going to fool anybody.
No.
let them have it, warts and all. People appreciate that they know the good, they know the bad, and they work with it. Like somebody said, if they were all perfect, there'd be one camera on the market, and that would be it.
That's
but
true.
There's not. There's said that by the sounds of it, it's got that high speed shutter. It shoots a lot, but maybe it's got to be in a bit better lighting to do that to get the better one. And I'm sure a sports photographer, I'm not one of those, but I'm sure that they'll say there's not always a perfect situation, no matter what camera. If you've got the better light, it's going to do a better job for you as well. But it's just quite silly, these companies that try to fool you a bit, where people do appreciate there is good and bad in everything. And let's face it, Sony's got a good reputation out there in cameras, so they don't need to really push to get a hold on the market. They've got one there as well. And like all those people with the A7Rs and the A7Ss, there's so many little issues with that, but they're still selling them hand over fist. So, but some people were saying with that A9, does that mean that they're not going to do an A7 Mark III or
no one knows
that?
No one knows. It'll be interesting.
Because that's the only thing that's holding, I think, the A7 things down is because it's a small form factor.
Too small.
And
I don't like it.
And with the lenses you put on it, you need something like that size of the A9, don't you? Which,
yeah. See, to me, the form factor of the A7S2 and the A7, well, and this A7R2, I mean, they're meant for pygmies. And I'm not a pygmy. My hands are big. And it's like, I've held them. I go to Best Buy and I hold them. I'm like,
You're gonna have the pygmy discrimination board on.
I know. If any pygmies are watching, we don't mean anything wrong. You are not considered little people because you're pygmies. That is different. You're a tribe. It's a pygmy tribe. So please don't send any notes because one, we'll ignore you. Two, we don't care, and we're not meaning here to offend anybody. If you have very small hands, that qualifies you as maybe a pygmy. So,
but even that Sony though, if it did have that small, that would be fine if you just had the little standard 50mm lens.
Yeah.
On it, and because that's what it's designed for, a nice small one. But
yeah, then you put a lens like this on. So here's a lens like this.
Everybody has a decent lens on it,
which is a 50mm. Look how big that lens is. So I mean. So you can get a small nifty 50 or you get a big, huge lens that lets in more light than the sun. So it just depends. But you put a 50mm like this on the Sony and now it's really unbalanced.
Yeah, and that's where that Panasonic, I think, has got it down a bit because it's big enough.
It's a fake Canon.
And it's just that little bit smaller than the big Canon to make it much. A bit better.
Yeah, but not by a lot.
And with the being mirrorless, it's the bigger size, but the weight is about half, isn't it?
Yeah.
The mirrored camera. Because I still, with my FZ1000, I still have to keep checking the camera bag because I still don't believe it's in there.
That's funny.
I keep thinking it just feels too light. When I've got the Canon, I know it's on my shoulder, whereas that one I have to keep checking to make sure.
Well, I tell you, if you like the Canon weight and feel. The GH5 is more like a Canon than a typical Micro Four Thirds. It's a hefty camera. With the battery grip, we're talking, I mean, this camera right now, I think weighs probably about 5 to 7 pounds with everything on it. I mean, you get a good exercise with this. You can feel it in your arm. Well, I'm showing it, but I'm not showing it. Hold on. There we go.
No, that's right.
I mean, this gives you a pretty good workout. It's not light. Pygmies would not like it, but...
One of the things I did see from NAB, there was what was it? The small HD monitors.
Yeah,
they brought out another small HD display for about $499, which is a 5-inch touchscreen LCD, which is supposed a daylight viewable.
Nice.
For about $499.
Who's that? Marshall?
Sorry.
Was that Marshall?
Small HD, that's what it's called.
Oh, Small HD. Is that the name of the company?
That's the name of the company. They're called Small HD. And they've done ones now that it says viewable outside, and that's the main thing. And people are like that because it's just ideal for things like the Panasonic. So
are you telling me that Small HD is for pygmies? We're going to get notes, I'm sure.
We're going to get, but the thing is, for I know at least it probably works for the Sony, but with the Small HD, it has the Sony battery on the back that powers it.
Right.
But also for what you can do a cable from the Small HD, and it will power the camera.
Yeah.
Maybe that's in an attempt but I'm not too sure if it would work with the Panasonic because the Panasonic doesn't. The GH5 won't charge or do anything from the USB, will it? The USB 3. So I'm sure it wouldn't work on that one there. But that might be worth looking at, having that, because it's got all it's got the 1280 by 720 resolution, and it's got all your
nice,
HD waveforms, your scopes, your focus assist, peaking, and all the zebra things on it. So if you want to have a bit better view on that, but then again, you've got 3.5. What's it? A 3.5 inch
on the GH5, 3.2.
On the GH 3.2, so it's not that much difference. But maybe unless you can see it a bit better. But the thing is, don't have to have it on top of the camera. That's the main thing with that. So.
And none of them still have screens big enough like camcorders, or some of the camcorders have 4 or 5 inch screens built in, and they have very large viewfinders, which I love. Even though I think you sold it too, the HCX 1000.
Yes, yeah.
Well, that one had a nice viewfinder. It was big.
Mm. But it's still like all of them, very hard to see outside
I
without
know.
a hood, and even then you still had to make
Yep.
sure you was hunched over it
Yep.
to see. But then again, that did have the nice electronic viewfinder through the eyepiece, which you
Yep.
could use
And the
quite
EVF was
nicely.
great, and you could see perfect. They kind of copied. I don't know who copied who, but it's like it reminded me of the old Canon camcorders, and they still have the big ones with the big
Hmm.
hoods. The big, and it covers everything all the way
Yes.
through, and those are great. In the sunlight, you're really not hampered by it, and they also have the three, I think, a 3 or 5 stop ND filters,
Hmm.
so you don't have to put extra lenses. The ND works pretty well, and they're fun. I just, in my case, the HCX 1000 I didn't think was pro quality, and it wasn't. They have the pro quality version of it, but I'm scared to buy it because it looks exactly like the other one.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you now, there was looking at the NAB thing, there was nothing great, really fantastic and new, but Panasonic, just so they weren't left out on their booth, they had a video camera under a veil and saying something new coming. So don't buy anything
Mm.
else here. So,
But
but
they
they didn't
wouldn't
have
show it?
any. But so they had something under the veil. So it may be like the more pro version of the HCX 1000, as you were just
Well, they have
saying.
one of those. They have an HCX. Well, it's not the same
No,
number.
I know what it is. It's with a red body. It's got
Yes,
on a
yes,
the
and it
next one
looks the
up.
same
Yes.
except for the red
Mm,
lines, and it has
that's right.
SDI, and it has the serial digital interface connector. If you're doing, camera and timing work and all
Yeah.
that, but it looks exactly the same,
The
good and
same.
bad.
It
So
does.
I'm a little like, I don't know, and it's still micro four thirds, which is okay, but I wonder how good it really is. It does 4K. I didn't think the 4K on the HCX was necessarily very good in color. It was okay,
Hmm.
but it didn't have really bright, sharp. To me, didn't look very bright and sharp. Everything I filmed didn't have a lot of life to it, and I was going, and that's what I didn't like. Whereas when I had my Canons, even though they weren't 4K, the bigger camcorders had really nice video on it, and you got good coloring. And I don't know. I think they weren't there
Well,
yet. Sony's
I'll
got
tell
some
you
too
what.
that are nice.
I've sold mine, but I regret. I wish I'd kept it really because I do miss it. Did quite like the
Yep.
HCXC 1000, but it's it's strange it is. But hey, I wanted money for something else to spend
Hmm.
on, so something had to go. But as I said, I'm still not out of the pack about getting the GH5. I'm just trying to avoid it until maybe the sales will peter off a little bit and it'll have a bit of a discount. I don't
Oh,
think
I don't
that's ever
know.
going to
It's going to be a while.
happen. That's right. But
Now, I
as I
was
said,
shooting with the Fujifilm X-T2 yesterday, just a little
hmm.
bit, taking some pictures and shooting. By the way, the Canon flash worked beautifully on that too.
Oh, it did. Yeah,
And
that's
as
good.
I was shocked, I didn't think it would work that way. It worked beautifully. And I have to admit, I've bashed the XT2 a little bit, but
Hmm.
it does take really nice pictures and video. It looked great. I was looking at the differences between the two, and they're close. They're pretty close. Both are very good cameras. I beat it with this one is because of the Metabones. With the Metabones, I could put the 50 millimeter art, and it's so bright. I didn't have anything on the XT2 that was quite that sharp and bright. Even though I have some good XT2 lenses, none of them are f1.2.
And then the XT2 is predominantly is a still camera. It
It
does a good
is.
video, but it's not meant to be
No.
it's just giving you a video, so you've got that option. And that's
Yep.
where, like you say, the GH5 is a video camera with a still camera
Yes.
on it. So
Mm-hmm.
it's the other way around. But
Yeah.
that's why the Fuji, I still hear people talking about, and it is a lot of people's preferred camera for the stills.
Yes.
But as I said, it's you sometimes get a bit funny with all
Mm-hmm.
the buttons on the top of it, but some people like that.
They do. They love it.
Like the old retro style
Yeah.
camera, and it makes it easy for them. So I mean, there's
I
horses for
I
courses, isn't there?
I think I have to get the new firmware update, which came out towards the end of last year. I never got it, and I need to because I think that fixes some of the problems I'm having. I have weird power
okay.
problems with it, where things turn off, they go back on. It's like, what's going on? They're odd, or the camera just sort of stops for a moment, doesn't come back ever. You have to turn it off and on, it's back. So those might be things that are fixed by the firmwmer. I did upgrade the firmware to the version 1.1 for the GH5, and it added more features, including the 10.2.2, 10.2.2.
Oh, okay.
filming, but I've heard from people that that's not that easy to decode. So not everything opens the 10.22 or the 10.22. You have to go maybe render it out to a different format. I think Final Cut kind of does it. Premiere sort of did it, but they said it didn't work well. So, it's great, but I don't really need 10.22 at this moment. It doesn't make any much difference. And
but it's even like when I first got the FZ1000, I didn't realize it when I first got it, and I loaded it up onto the computer and I couldn't see my raw images. And all it was, I thought, oh, what? And then the next day I did, but it was Lightroom wasn't set up for the raw files that the Panasonic had put out on it. But then they updated it, and it's the same thing with this. There's so many out there. Somebody will be updating the format, so you will do that 10-bit. And as I said, because it's a selling point, there's going to be so many people wanting to do that. But as I said, most cases, like for me and you, we don't need that quality, and that's where some other people are saying, even with that, they would like to have had the 4K at a lower frame rate or lower bit rate for just those shots like me and you sat here. There's no point doing a great one if there's no movement or that happening, and you want to have a great quality but at a lower file. So some people are even wanting them to have the firmware to give them some lower frame rates, which or lower bit rates, I should say, so they can do the higher quality without as big a file. But it's like everything else. People want bigger. But as I said, it all comes at a price, doesn't it?
Well, I was listening to some podcasts the other day, and a lot of people are starting to say this: you don't really need a full frame camera anymore. The quality of the APS-C sensors and even some of these Micro Four Thirds are rather amazing. And full frame is nice, but they don't always give you something that's that much better. I've taken cameras with the Panasonics, with the Fujifilms, with Canons, APS-C sensors, and I compare them against some of the full frames like the 5DSR. They don't look that much worse, if at all. Sometimes I'm amazed at how good they look. The 5DSR, depending on where you're shooting and what kind of light you have, can give you a lot more detail. But it's not something that's all that much different. It's a little different. Most people wouldn't notice it. So it's
and that's right, and that's that 5DSO. As you said, it's bought for a specific purpose. It's not just for the standard portrait photographer. It's something that you want to get every single dot on there. You might want to zoom in on that particular piece, and you've only got that say the chance to film it once or twice or something. So you want to make tons of shots out, or else you're doing a big billboard that you're going to blow up hundreds of feet. You want the best damn quality you can get for those sort of things. But as I said, how many times have you had to produce a photo for a 100-foot billboard?
Not often.
But not often.
I remember the good old days of the 50-foot bulb.
That's what, just put it on the side of the house.
That's right. Yeah, they're the good old days.
Could put fool everybody. Just put a big picture of a massive big house. Instead of doing a renovation, just put a photo.
And as they drive by, they go, "What is that?" That's a full frame photo.
Just a big facade. People won't notice the difference if you blend it in.
That's true. So. Well, we're trying to get Max Uraev on the show. Hopefully next week we may be able to get him on, or at least confirm a show date. So we'll see how that goes.
I like Max.
He's good.
I've been watching him for quite some time, and when he's, I don't know when he did start off, but
it's been a while. At least
he was as popular.
I think at least 3-4 years.
What I like with all his things, he's passionate, but it's just him. Like some people, they do it and they just get too, but you can just see his love for the industry and just the things he does on there, and he's just like a normal person filming and gets all the problems that the standard person gets, whereas a lot of people go through this and like I said with the Panasonic, some people, I never thought about that, I always use manual focus, I didn't even look at that, and some of these high-end ones said they didn't even notice, but they said, well, the normal person nearly always clicks on autofocus, and as I said, or else nobody else would have said anything, I don't think, if he hadn't have said that. But I really do appreciate all the work he does put in there, so hopefully he does, because I'd look forward to having a chat with him.
It'd be fun. Well, Jeff, we are at the end of our time.
Oh,
Next
back
week
in.
is not that far away. So I will be in touch with you. I did get my, I didn't tell you, my lens, the one that got broken.
Yes.
Well, it went to Panasonic in Texas, and I got my letter from them yesterday, and it said, this lens has been abused and damaged.
Yeah, they're calling the authorities out.
So as a result, it's no longer under warranty. Yep, I know that. I even told them, sorry, it's the first time I dropped a camera, and this is what happened. And the cost of the replacement, it's a full lens kit replacement, meaning all the lenses, it's basically a new lens. $370 to replace it, $409 total. And I went, okay, that's less than half the price of the lens, but oh well, that's what I get for being an idiot. So we paid it by credit card today, and they'll probably fix it within, I imagine, the week, and we'll get it back. But I mean, they were very good. They send you pictures of everything that was broken. They show you a picture of it, and then they show you the warranty page where it says it was abused. So
they're going to send a social worker around and see
that's
whether
right. That's right. I think they gave me Play-Doh and crayon so I could do my therapy work on it.
I'll just like that. I'm sorry, this lens has been abused.
Abused. I was going, I didn't mean to abuse it. It fell. It's my bag's fault.
Oh dear. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to abuse.
I didn't want to drop
lens
it.
officer. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
It's just the bag was open. It flew out. My mistake. But yeah, it was not a cheap fix. So I should have got. You know what that teaches me? Maybe when I buy lenses from now on that are over $500, insure them for accident protection, because that was a total accident, a dumb, stupid accident.
Yeah, but then again, you said it's the first time you've done it. Can you imagine the thousands you would have spent over the years in lens protection?
Yeah, and we've done a lot. We've always protected cameras, but you know, it's good for 3 years, and after that, we don't care that much. But you're right. I've never ever once had a claim on any camera in about 30 years.
Yeah.
So maybe more. I've owned other cameras and I didn't insure. I never broke a camera.
But that's a good thing you've had this one, because that'll ensure you won't do it again.
No, because that's it. It's one time.
Now you'll be every time. What's Rick doing? He's just checking, then down, zips again.
So zippers.
He's checking it again and again.
Oh, gosh. That's what I've been doing, too. It's like a check. Okay.
Check.
Yeah. Rick, side bag, check. Okay, other side bag, check. Back zipper, check.
What's the matter? Some of these bags are great for the easy access, but if you leave them on the easy fallout access to
you know, nobody knows the life we lead, do they?
No, it could have been worse. You could have hit somebody else with the camera.
If somebody had been there, they would have been. It flew like 5 feet, and then landed.
You could have hit them as well.
And then it landed like a bad Southwest Airlines flight. Donk. And the lens got lost on, I think, like the second hit. So, that was fun. So, anyway, well, hey, Jeff, I will see you next week on the show. Maybe we'll have a guest next week. It's been a while we've had a guest, but that's good. We get to catch up.
Yes, that definitely.
So, have a good one. And if you're watching the show out there, please subscribe. Pygmies are welcome to the show, so we want to make everybody understand that we don't have anything against pygmies.
You're going to get into trouble, you are.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. I can see the political correct police will be at the door any moment. Did you make fun of pygmies? No, sir. I have one in my pocket. Have a good one, everyone. We'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye for now.